Pioneer podcast with my guest today, Inge Hunter. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let me introduce my guest. Inge is a living testament to the power of the human spirit. Rising from the depths of adversity, she transformed homelessness and financial hardship into a platform for extraordinary success. A young mother who navigated poverty and the challenges of single parenthood, Inge is now a trailblazing entrepreneur, redefining the boundaries of possibility. Her journey is a beacon of hope, inspiring others to overcome obstacles and achieve greatness. Inge's story is a powerful reminder that with determination, grit, and unwavering belief in oneself, anything is possible. You are the living proof, Inge. How did that sound?
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
I love it.
So thanks for joining us today on the Passionate Pioneer podcast. You've overcome some significant challenges and emerged as a successful entrepreneur, winning the Creative Entrepreneur of the Year award at the esteemed Great British Entrepreneur Awards. How amazing.
Thank you.
Let's dive into your incredible story. So you launched your first business selling cocktails. How did that experience shape your entrepreneurial spirit and the path that led you to Clue Content?
So that was most definitely out of necessity rather than anything else. So I was a young homeless person and I had to figure out a way to make money. So what a lot of people misunderestimate about homelessness and living in hostels is that you still have to pay for things. So I still had to pay rent, still had to pay for the washing machine tokens. You get given a bit of money on benefits, but the bus to college, for example, is £3.60 a day, and I only had £4 a week to live on. So, or I could choose to walk an hour there and an hour back. So I decided that I would find ways to make money, and the way that I chose to make money was to sell cocktails on the street. I grew up in Cambridge, and in Cambridge they have these big May balls every year, and the students line up in the street and they're just there, they're ripe for the picking. So what do they want? They want alcohol. So I thought I'll sell
them. Of course they do.
So I used to shake up crappy Long Island iced teas, put them in milkshake cartons and go up and down the queues selling cocktails for £15. And then I took that into outside of nightclubs. Over time though, that company grew into a mobile cocktail bar, which then grew into an events company. The events company shifted into wedding planning. And throughout the whole time, though, I was really using what I think I'm quite naturally skilled at in marketing is understanding people's problems and really, really coming up with a solution for them. And so by the time I had moved into wedding planning, people were asking me how I was doing it, how I was getting clients. I had sort of my biggest clients were paying around about 500,000 for their weddings, and people were saying, oh God, how do you get people to do that? So I started teaching people how to pick up people through social media, how to use content to grow people's businesses. And I was in consultancy of that for about 5 years until a couple of years ago I decided I'm just going to do it now. I'm going to do it for people because it's become so hard to keep up with social media, and so ridiculously time consuming that I set up Clue and continued doing Clue, which is a content creation house. But it all sort of has, the whole path has sort of come through iterations of figuring out how best to serve the people that I had in front of me.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. When I ask my guests, did you always know you wanted to do this, or was it a journey of discovery? And of course, it's a journey of discovery, isn't it? That's what, you just take the next step and the next step, and you started because you needed the money, and then you realized you were good with people, good with marketing, and you just kept following what you're good at and doing the next available step. And that's quite a story. Right, that's quite an interesting story.
Tour, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a whistle stop tour, right? This in a nutshell. What are some of the biggest challenges that businesses businesses face when it comes to content creation, and how does Clue Content address these hurdles?
So firstly, people don't do it. Or secondly, people can't keep up with it. If they can keep up with it, they generally can't keep up with the quality of it. And if they can keep up with the quality of it and doing it, then they don't look at their data. So it's a whole
All sounds very familiar.
yeah. Exactly. I don't need to explain it anymore. Everyone who's listening understands that. And so Clue seeks to address this exact thing. Like, I'm so passionate that there shouldn't be huge barriers in the way to having business success. And one of the massive barriers at the moment in terms of business growth and business in as an industry is social media. It's so reactive. You can't stay on top of it. It's such hard work. And I don't think a lot of companies realize that you're trying to compete with, you know, you see these cool things online, you're trying to compete with them. They have a team of 20 people behind that piece of video.
Right.
And you're maybe yourself, or maybe 3, 4, 5 people maybe. And so I set up Clue to address this head on. People need content to grow their companies. It's only going to get more and more important in the near future. So let's get it done. Let's get it done right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do it and do it right. Yes.
Yeah.
So congratulations on being accepted into Innovate UK.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. So what does this opportunity mean for you and the future of Clue Content?
So Innovate was quite a surprise, really. Under the hub of the company, we're developing out technology at the moment, which seeks to analyze vast amounts of data and tell you exactly what you need to do on social media, so you don't have to guess. And so being picked up, I thought it was just a cool idea we would do internally in our team. We're very data led anyway, but just have technology do it makes it a lot quicker. And so I didn't really, in all honesty, understand that this was an innovative way of doing things, an innovative way of and coming up with
Innovative.
And so being accepted onto Innovate was a recommendation actually from one of my investors, who said, you should go and talk to this person, put me in touch. And then they accepted me onto it, which has been really, really good. And if anyone doesn't really understand what Innovate is, it's a government organization that's set up to identify small businesses that have the potential to turn into global corporations. Because the UK at the moment has a lack of small businesses growing to big ones to be able to be globally competitive as a company, as a country, and to be able to be accepted by that is just huge validation. Like, I know that this is cool, but the government think it's worthwhile plugging with advisors and grants, then that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for explaining that, because I wasn't sure about Innovate UK because I don't live in the UK, but I'm guessing it was sponsored by the government, and it means that they see potential in your business too. And that's correct, because I think that small businesses these days, especially since COVID calamity, let's call it that, where everybody went online and a lot of small businesses closed. And I think there needs to be this new, opportunity for many entrepreneurs, because there are some really, really great, as humans, we have amazing imaginations, and we've got amazing tools that we can use.
It's a very cool program.
So you've been recognised as a finalist in 2 prestigious categories at the UK Startup Award. Is that correct? And you're a recipient of the Creative Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Yes, I am the reigning champion in the UK of the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, and I just won the regional startup awards. So we'll see if we win national. But that was really unexpected as well, because that was within 8 years of setting up the company. The Great British Entrepreneur Award has been won by people like Stephen Bartlett, or the guy that owned Brewdog. It's a real intense selection process, and to win it, and then, well, I'm a finalist again this year, so we might win it again 2 years in a row.
Nice.
Is pretty cool.
Well, how does this recognition feel, particularly considering the limited number of women receiving funding in this male-dominated field? Because you mentioned 2 other winners and they're both male. So how does it feel to be, you know?
And I was the only female on the stage to get the award, the winner of the national awards. I was surprised. I think, especially in more creative industries, you'd hope to see women, in particular in those industries, women. Sometimes other industries, you don't expect it so much, maybe. But off the back of it, though, I have managed to connect and interact with loads of other, particularly just the women who won that award or won different awards in the same awards company. And they're a phenomenal group of women who do end up winning those things. Sometimes I get a lot of imposter syndrome and I can't really place myself in the same category.
Right. Well, but we just, there's a simple way for that. You just say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just say thank you, right? Thank you for this award. It's my honor. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Done.
It's just a pretty the lineup of people that get that is quite amazing, and to be up there with them is quite full on.
Quite something.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. What a great job you've done.
Oh, thank you.
That's what we say to ourselves, right? And we just say thank you, because as British people, we're not very good at saying thank you, right? Are we? You know, oh, that's a nice top you're wearing. Oh, this old thing. It's just, you know, we're not very good at just saying. My Canadian friends would just say thank you. Yeah. They're very good at accepting compliments. We're not so good being British. I understand that. So, excuse me, losing my voice, too many podcasts, or maybe not enough. Can you elaborate on your groundbreaking AI and ML technology that's projected to achieve unicorn status?
Yeah, so as I said, we're developing out technology at the moment that is what we've been picked up for, particularly in Innovate. And the technology works to solve the problem of unpredictability in social media. So analyzing huge amounts of data, putting it all together and saying, you know what, if you make this, that will work, based upon sort of 4 set things. People always want more reach, they want more followers, they want more engagement, or they want more website taps. And so if we understand what makes that happen in the first place, we can predict how to get more of that in the future. So the technology is being built at the moment. We're going to go for market launch in January. We're going through beta testing at the moment, and it is very, very accurate. And now if or when I bring it to market properly and it gets picked up, we've got some very interesting people interested in bringing it in-house, then the plan is to grow the company to £1 billion valuation, so unicorn status, by the time I'm 40, and then sell it
and retire and go and enjoy your life.
That's it.
I don't know, can you do that though, because you're an innovator, right, and a creative? You know, if you do reach that status and then you do sell the company, I think you'll probably start something else, because I think you're that type of person. Right, be nice to think you just go and retire and in the Bahamas.
No, I don't think I could.
But I don't think you will. I think it's we're high achievers. You're a high achiever. You know, the women I surround myself with are high achievers, and it's very difficult for us to we do have our downtime. But I think when I think about retiring, I'm like, retiring? I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll find something else to do. I'm sure that's the same with you, right?
Yes, definitely.
But it's nice. So how will this groundbreaking technology, well, I guess, revolutionize Clue content services? You've touched on that a little bit with the, reaching unicorn status and getting into larger corporate companies. Is that the goal, to get into?
A little bit. The goal with the technology is to firstly improve all of the content that we're making for clients anyway. We are very, very good at what we do. On average, we increase people's website taps between 80 to 100% within a month. And we have gained within 18 months, we had got over 10.5 million views on the content that we created for people, collected 22,000 followers for people. So we already know what to do. So the first iteration is to use it in-house to make all of our clients just much better. The ultimate goal is that it lowers resources, so it less time, higher output, basically. And we take it into corporates and sell the use of it there. The third phase, is to take it to marketing agencies so that they can license it out and use it for their clients. And the fourth phase is to go for a full SaaS model where anyone, who owns a small business anywhere can have access to it, use it, understand what to make, be much better at getting return on investment of the huge amounts of time and money that people put into social.
It's overwhelming, I have to say, for everybody, even if you're just even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're you're just scrolling, you're talking to friends, or you're looking at content, the amount of everything just gets lost. So there's so much information. It is very confusing and overwhelming, especially for new entrepreneurs. You've got to learn to stop the doom scroll, and you've got to learn how to look at the numbers, especially if you're a new entrepreneur. Try something, test it, try something, test it, try fail, try fail, try fail. That's kind of life as an entrepreneur. It's all about trying and seeing if it works.
And you can make that quicker.
Yeah, but I was going to say, you've got that, and you're using the technology and to make that faster and put it all together. And I think that's amazing. So the Clue content work environment, you foster collaboration and support. Can you walk us through your company culture and how it fuels creativity and excellence within the team?
Oh, yeah. So we are hyper flexible. So firstly, before we get into anything else, so everyone at the moment, not that I actively have made it like this, but everyone's a woman who works for Clue, which is still quite rare to have all female team. But because of that comes with understanding of different life cycles in a woman, different care needs of a woman, or a caregiver, female identifying person. And so I make sure that the working environment reflects that. So we don't have sort of set hours, we don't have sort of set times that they work. I do expect everyone to kind of do the output that they've said they would do and that is in their job role. But outside of that, I don't care if you've got to go and take your son to counselling, or I don't care if you've woken up and you've massive hot sweat and you just can't do it for a couple of hours. It's fine.
Welcome to menopause, right?
I don't mind. So we work like that. Our values are creativity, love, uniqueness, and experimentation. And we always try and live by those. So if anything goes wrong, or if anything goes really good, or if anything needs discussed, we come back to, right, are we being creative here with our problem solving and the way we approach things? Are we approaching this with love? Because sometimes it doesn't always feel like you want to approach something with love, but if we go love first, it always works. Have we thought about the uniqueness of each person and not realize that each person has their own unique experiences? And the experimentation, relates more to the content, but it's very important to me that I find the best people for the role, not the best people for the working hours. So
I totally understand. You need people that fit into the team, and I love the fact that you nurture. You're a nurturer. You nurture them. You nurture their their needs, and I think that's really important. And it's something that's been overlooked in the workforce for generations.
It's ridiculous though, because you get the
Right?
best out of people
Absolutely.
and they come on the journey with you if you take care of them.
Correct. Always take care of the people, and the people take care of your team will take care of the clients. You take care of your team. They're the most important ones. They're the ones doing the work. They're the ones that are talking with the clients. That's the most important. That's what I learned in the corporate world when I worked in the corporate world. Take care of the team, make sure they're happy.
Yeah.
And then they in turn, it has a knock-on effect with everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Nice. So you're filming locally in Cambridge where you live. And you travel to clients in their own locations for this content creation, yes?
Yeah.
So how do you strike a balance between showcasing local landscapes and catering to a diverse clientele with global needs?
Question.
Yeah.
So
Because it is difficult being on location. It's very different to your local neighborhood.
Yeah, so we do that for two reasons. The first reason being different price points. If people come to us, we can make it cheaper than if we come and bring the whole crew out to them. So it depends on the business type. But secondly, we also have different sizes of clients. So some of the more local ones tend to be solo founders, really ambitious people, not necessarily have a big team. Whereas the ones that we go to, they might have sort of a big hospitality team or like a big multi-brand company where we have to film a whole bunch of different people. It is very hard pinning down local versus national, but overall what we try to do is attract the personality type rather than the socioeconomic status of a company. So we'll try and find someone who just is ambitious, really knows that content's what they need, and is up for, because even though I don't think content's a new age thing, but is up for going for something that they've never done before, or something new, something experimental, and someone who's got a real good growth mindset. So you might find that in a founder and a business owner, or you might find that in the marketing manager of a company. Right. But we try and market to the personality type, and that helps us navigate between being local and national.
That's interesting. That's an interesting answer, right? That you follow the personality, and it's all about the content, isn't it? And like we said, humans have an most amazing imagination. We sometimes, and we're very creative naturally, but most of us we just go to work, we come back, we go to work, we come back, most of society, and we lose that creativity, we lose that imagination. But there are a few sparks still in the world of that, right? Yeah. Definitely with youngsters, and there are a few adults that have held on to it. Yay, go us. Okay, so you mentioned a documentary in the making. I know that's in the planning. Can you share some details about this project, or is it a secret?
Oh, it's not a secret. It's a big project.
So what does that mean for Clue Content's future endeavors?
Well, that was, again, I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to do it, but this documentary is being premiered in Leicester Square in London on the big screen at the end of August.
Oh, fantastic.
I know.
You're on the big screen. Get used to it.
I know. I'll be pacing back and forth. No, it's a really great documentary that's kind of close to the hearts of the company. So it's all around diversity and inclusion in business spaces and workspaces, and actively trying to seek out inclusion rather than just letting people come to you. It's a documentary for a formidable woman called Danny Wallace, who runs a company called runs an event called the Big Festoon, where she actively includes people from all different neurodiversities, gender diversities, race diversities, religion diversities, to all come together and celebrate business and the documentary is roughly based around Beyonce's Coachella documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's fun and she's crazy like that. But it's a big project, and I can't say whether I'm, nervous and excitement are apparently the same emotion, aren't they? But the same.
They are, absolutely. If you're nervous, just turn it into excitement. It's the same chemical that's released in your brain.
Yeah, so I'll say excited, but I'm nervous.
Of course, listen, anything that's new when you're leveling up, because it's the next level for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, most
Where
definitely.
you're putting yourself literally on the big screen, right? And it takes, I don't know about you, but you do this video content, and you make, but you work a lot with the data as well. But when you first saw yourself on video, I mean, it's like, is that me? How do I, well, my voice is strange. That doesn't sound like me. Is that me? It takes some getting used to, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And now you're going to the next level of that, where they're showcasing you on the big screen.
Well, yeah, I'm in it a little bit. I'm not in it a lot. It's more around Danny, who we made the documentary for. But yeah, seeing it,
sure
our work on the big screen is going to be.
Yeah, and you're in it, I'm sure.
Yeah, in bits dancing.
That's nice. Okay, good. Dancing, that's all good, right? Why not?
Why not?
And here's the owner of Clue Content, and here's her dance moves.
That's it.
So your story obviously embodies entrepreneurship, resilience, and innovation. So what core values inspire you? And what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, particularly women, facing challenges in male-dominated industries?
That's a good one, because I don't know if my values sit outside of just being absolutely addicted to it and it being a part of me, whether I like it or not. So I think because of the way that I grew my companies, and where they've come from, my values around business ownership and business growth are all to do with being in control, really, of your own life, and being in a place where you can grow in your own confidence of doing your own thing and bringing your own skills to people. And so when you face challenges, it can almost, especially if you're sometimes in a more male dominated space. So when I'm in like the tech space a lot with what I'm building out, I have there's a lot of men in that industry, and they do like to, for want of a better phrase, throw their weight around,
right?
Hyping it with whatever you might say. And it can be very hard to remember to stay in your power, but you really have to understand that it's, when it feels like a challenge, it probably means that there's growth. When you feel like something isn't working, or you feel like you've had quite a lot of punches, or you're a bit exhausted, really, possibly, the likelihood is that there's growth there, and you're going to let go to move to the next bit. Because if it didn't feel painful, that means it feels comfortable, and comfortable is being where you are.
Is death, right? It's like, you need to be uncomfortable most of the time to grow exponentially, right? Yeah,
exactly. And you have to get really used to it, and not let some of the narrative that can come in, especially sometimes when you're in a male dominated space, to infiltrate that. It will be added to the narrative that keeps you that is uncomfortable. Yeah, but you have to find people, find spaces, and just remember that support you, and that remind you that no, this growth is good. You're doing it.
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify, when the narrative is fear, is fear-based.
Yeah.
But it keeps you to stay in your power, and it just basically, it feeds your power. You can feed your power if you use it wisely, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You just like laugh and go, oh, really? Oh, look, I must be doing something right then. It's funny because I've had some conversations in the last few days actually with about male dominated industries and the fact that, you know, in society and our consciousness for in the collective consciousness for generations and generations, we've got these identities for work, what a woman should do and what a man should do. If I said teacher, you would say female. If I said professor, you would say man. If I said nurse, female. Doctor, male.
Right, yeah.
Right. And we've got these, and you know, how can we change that? Well, we can change that by just doing what we can do. So stepping into that uncomfortable role and making the change, and then it has a knock-on effect, right? Because other women will see you. Oh, look, she's doing that. She's doing content creation. She's in the tech industry. I could do that, right? So we become leaders just by leading by example.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. It can be really tough though sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to, yeah, you grow that rhinoceros skin, right?
Yeah, definitely. Rhinoceros skin that's covered by a beautiful shirt.
Exactly, that's covered with beautiful fur, yeah. So in an increasingly digital landscape, mind-blowing landscape at the moment, what role do you see social media content creation playing in business success?
Oh, it's only going to grow. I really, honestly, the way that I think of social media is it's like a tree. So, especially with the new buying generations, it's nothing in my head, it's not even to do with the increasingly digitalness. It's just the new buying generations are digital. It's not no two ways about it. If you think of your marketing as a tree, social media is most definitely the trunk. The website, the PR, the emails, the networking, the funnels, they're all branches to grow the bush of the tree. But in order to get all of that, you need to have that constant social, visible presence. Otherwise, you will get, it's quite a crowded marketplace, and you will get totally ignored or overlooked if you're not on social media, right? You know, people don't even Google anymore. They just look at TikTok. People don't really, TikTok shop's the only thing that's recently been able to compete with Amazon in terms of money made buying power, because people are just using social media for everything in their lives. So I don't think it's a question of what might happen. It's a question of when.
I like the way you just played that down. You said, well, it's quite a crowded market in there. It's quite crowded. It's like
It's very
it's very crowded. It's overwhelming, right? It's like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm confused. I only wanted one choice and I've been given 100 choices.
Yeah, I mean, even down to different cereal brands now.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I understand that when we had the internet, you know, the power of knowledge was given to us.
Yeah.
You know, because years ago, if you had a question, you went to the library or you asked your grandparents, you asked your teachers, you asked your friends, and it was very different.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the power was in our hands. And the knowledge is in our hands, but it can be overwhelming. Like you just find one product. Oh, I just want a pair of slippers. You know, it's just like you get, you know, 100, probably the minimum is 100 choices.
Yes.
Oh my God, I just want a pair of slippers, right? It's just it's overwhelming and confusing, right? For for many people.
Yeah.
So how can businesses overcome their apprehensions and harness the power of content marketing in this crowded space?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one, because my honest answer to that question is you haven't got a choice. So overcoming apprehension for me is more of a, why aren't you why aren't you embracing it yet? Like,
Yeah, get in the fire. Just get right in the fire. Just jump in. There's no easy way, is there?
No. So I think it's an honest look at yourself and thinking, am I prepared to do what it takes to grow my company or not? I mean, if you are a local company on the high street, you have a very local market, you use local products, you attract people who come by your shop. Yes, there's an argument that you don't have to grow with social media. You don't have to use social media. But if you are doing anything else, I think it's not really, people can feel apprehensive because of the sheer amount of time, I think, and money that most companies will put into it. But you can get started. Honestly, it's much better to spend a lot of time on one amazing video a month than it would be to spend that time on making 30 shit pieces of content.
Right, for want of a better word. Yeah. Exactly.
Really figure out what works with some amazing singular pieces, and go from there, and be okay with failing. Like, you are going to fail. You will get only one like or no likes, or but it doesn't mean that it's a massive problem, because you can learn from it.
Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. I see some videos and I'm like, oh, that went viral, and that one I really like, but that didn't go viral. So it's just like, sometimes there is no, but it's the day you look at the
well, I would know. Yeah.
You would know why, right? Yeah, that's the clue.
Because the thing is, with the technology I'm building, is you might post the same thing on one day and post the exact same thing 3 months, and the only difference is it was sunny outside, which is why it went viral. So sometimes social media is built by humans, and humans create stuff on it. So sometimes you need to look outside of the social media to understand why something happens, because we're humans in a human experience. And so the technology that I'm building doesn't just analyze the social, it analyze, right, okay, it rained. Or there was a thing about the war in the news that morning, or there was some sort of, the price of bread went up in supermarkets. All these things can affect us, because everything
and that's a testament to the collective consciousness and how we're all connected.
Most definitely.
We're all connected, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way we're all feeling that same feeling about that, the news we saw on the television, or it's raining outside or something, right?
Yeah. So understanding why something went viral or something, yes, you can look at your socials and go for it, but sometimes, which is where my technology sort of comes in, because we need to understand the trends that happen, in economics, in finances, in politics. So it's all wavelengths, and we on socials experience those wavelengths. And so if we can understand that, then maybe you might post that post when it's sunny instead of raining, and then it will go viral, and then you've spent less time worrying about it. Because it was
whether it's so unpredictable. How can we predict that? How do you predict that, Inge?
Oh, don't worry. You wait. I'll bring it out. Don't worry. It works.
Yes. I believe you. But that's a fantastic answer. I can totally see that. How our mentality affects the way we see something. What's happening in our lives, outside of our lives. Oh God, I watched that horrible, news on TV, or it's raining or something, and you look at the video, it doesn't have the same effect. And I can totally understand that. We're fueled by our emotions, that we do everything with our emotions, right?
Yeah.
So looking towards the future, what are your long-term goals for Clue content? You talked a little bit about them, and the impact you aim to have on the industry.
So most definitely the big goal is to grow the company and sell it when I'm 40. The reason being that someone has, in my opinion anyway, someone's got to sort social media out, because it's a big pile of guesswork, a mess. And so someone has to do it, and I think I've got the right way of doing it. So the impact on the industry is to turn social media from a very reactive, resource heavy guesswork space into a very reliable, predictive marketing model for companies. Once I've sold the company, though, big term, is to take the money from the company and turn around and reinvest it back into underrepresented people, just like the girls that were in my hostel. So the girls in my
That's
hostel,
amazing.
well, they were the most entrepreneurial people I've ever come across. It just might not have been directed in the right way. And so a lot of the times they're plundered, and I had the experience being plundered with charity. And charity doesn't always solve the problem because it keeps people in a victim state.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I agree.
yeah, so investment actually empowers someone in a respectful way of their skill. And so the goal is to sort social media out, and then once I've done that, actually bring people into the marketplace with that barrier rate load down, who are highly entrepreneurial and have huge amount of life experience to bring to the table and create something to solve really big problems with.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Well, empowered, you know, this is my motto: empowered women, empowered lives. You know, I'm all about empowering because, you know, I certainly don't have the answers. You have the answers.
Not to
and,
everything,
you know,
just the social
but,
media.
well, you know, no, but I'm just talking in general, right? You know, you look at a coach and you're like, oh, you know, what do I, you know, well, you know, I'll help you unwrap it,
See, yeah.
and I'll help you to empower yourself, to find the answers and uncover the answers and empower yourself, because it is, you know, you can keep giving the charity, or you can say, right, what's your idea? Let's invest in that, right? Why don't you start doing this and this? And then let's take the next step. And I think that's empowering is the way to go. So questions I ask all my guests. What's one piece of advice that you wish you'd gotten earlier in your life?
Oh, ooh, this is a hard one. I think learn how to listen. And I know that sounds very odd, but the more that I've grown the companies, the more that I have a team, the more I have to understand what people are really saying rather than what they say. And I've personally find that quite difficult. And I think it's possibly because of the experiences I've had, that oftentimes the way that I grew up, what someone said was exactly what they said. And so you had to, you knew where you were. Whereas the more that I've grown into business, the more sort of corporate spaces I've encountered, a lot of times people don't actually say what they want to say.
Absolutely. You got to look at the body language as well. It's everything.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
So I think sometimes the piece of advice I wish I'd had was just be quiet for an extra 2 seconds and really listen to what they're saying, and it will solve a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's what being a teacher taught me, actually. Taught me patience and to be a listener and to give good feedback. Got to listen to give feedback.
Good skills.
Yeah, you can't give feedback unless you listen, right?
Yeah.
And what do you hope your story today will inspire in other women who are listening?
Hopefully that you can just do it. You know, if I can do it from starting out homeless with absolutely nothing, and continue to go and continue to grow and continue to bring my ideas to market and sell them, then hopefully people will realize that they can do it too, and that sometimes along the way you might have an idea that people don't agree with, or you find hard to talk about because you get a lot of, you know, like in the male dominated spaces, for example, but that actually you can, I just think ultimately that you can do it, and that getting in your own way is only getting in your own way. Sometimes you've just got to let yourself go and trust it and do it.
Very good. I like that. Wow. A million thanks to Inge for joining me today. Thanks to our audience for hanging out with us. We hope you found it inspiring and empowering. And until next time, that's bye from us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inge.